Hey, so you know me. I generally don't make short videos. But while we're waiting for the Kai Cenat problem part 3, I might as well throw y'all a little algorithm love. So why don't you show me some algorithm love? Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that like to stay notified. We're live on Twitch mostly every day from 12 to 6. That was a ball. Anyway, remember how George Floyd died because of a counterfeit 20 leading to an altercation with police that ended up eventually killing him? Now, the facts of this situation are debated, but I'm going to tell you one thing right now as far as like how we're going to level this criticism. I generally don't like drawing lines in the sand about ideas and purposeful interactions with people to rile them up. But like at this point in time, if there is any doubt in your mind that the police didn't kill George Floyd, I'm just thinking that like you just purposefully live in that state of perpetual ignorance because it makes you feel like you'll always have something to say when the point of the conversation comes up and it's somewhere where you can start like inserting yourself and actually believing yourself to be confident in your ability to converse with other people. Because I know you don't say that shit out loud. I know you don't say that shit in person. What the fuck is this then?
So I always keep this fake Hollywood money in my car. So when a homeless person asks for money, then I give them like a fake $5 bill. So I feel good about myself. They feel good. And then when they go to use it, they get arrested. So I'm actually like helping clean up the community, you know, getting them off the street.
There are going to be tons of Twitter statuses, there's going to be tons of tweets, tons of Instagram posts, tons of TikTok posts. I'm going to try to levy my comment as quickly and as easily as I can. The ironic becomes the unironic very quickly. Posting rage bait gives weirdos the incentive to live through said rage bait because there is a face that they can say, oh, that guy's doing it, so we could do it. And you're not going to see these motherfuckers post on the internet because they're fat and stupid at what is happening. I thought I muted this, dog. Mute the whole thing. What is it open in more than one place? It is. Oh my God. Like, yo, people pick the worst times to contact me. What the fuck, dog? Anyway, it is insane to me that there are people who, even as a joke, find it as acceptable behavior to put that idea, you know, into the sphere of conversation. It leads us to some sort of pragmatic ending in which people say TikTok is a bad thing, yet consistently fill it with bad things. The self-fulfilling prophecy is you're watching technically a nation in decline. Things are getting worse in certain sectors for people, and it's all starting to converge into one nice big power grab. So you're slightly throwing out the victimization and dehumanization of a certain group of people in hopes that it'll either pick up steam, become a reality, or be so joke-filled that even you can murder yourself and say, I got canceled by the online left, I got canceled by the left, they arrested me for my quote-unquote joke. It's like you can see the avenues coming so far because you're so used to it that it only packages itself as new when it's vintage, which brings me back to that poem thing, the song I wrote. And the cycle keeps going on to a point where you're not even sure if the sarcasm and or consideration towards how that could actually affect people or what that actually looks like on a socially acceptable racist scale turns you into a martyr of sorts that pushes this ideal forward in a time where it's already happening naturally. You jam yourself up by making your existence become that. The more people share it, the more people define how they know you like that, the more people will associate you with that. And we're gonna say the obvious, it seems like it's only white people doing this, so like why? And then you hear but black people showed themselves, you know about the Kia boys, they showed themselves stealing cars and all that. What is that? And it's like, okay, nice. I hate the term whataboutism because both of them are problems. Both of them are problems. But the ramifications for both groups are not equal, and they'll never be equal. Because if they were equal, I wouldn't have to explain this. Which brings us back to that same coin toss up on every situation. You mean to tell me that Eric Gardner died for selling cigarettes, but a bunch of white people could just run up into a federal building threatening to hang people and we gotta investigate? Come on now. 555, come on now. How many situations a day? How many situations a day? It took less than 3 hours for people to take Aaron Bushnell's martyrdom and spin it into a whole other ass narrative. And it's like, I feel maybe history glossed over the protests for all the shit that was going on in the world, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just more fun for these people, because arguing that everything is fucked and there's really no solution to it but to band together and withhold labor is not a fun, concrete ending to the wonderful political saga known as whatever the fuck this box is, whatever they call this shit, bread tube, whatever that is, leftist tube, whatever the fuck. Just on the outside, I know that people who at least browse Instagram and are kept up on like Gaza and Ukraine and know about certain bills being passed and the reactions some people have had to government officials just wilding out, Jewish space lasers. Just talked about that with another student, with a law student. 23 years old, taking the pre-bar exam. Yeah, I'm walking into a fucked ass system. Trying to figure out, like, almost to the point of not to be funny, but like, why aren't these people streaming? Why aren't these people making content and talking? Like, I almost understand AOC, but in a turn of phrase motion. We're not going to disregard that whole conversation. There's many layers to a statement that can be made. I'm just floating it out there for the sake of understanding a person and their quote unquote public intentions. The contention I feel at this point watching that is that I'm not going to see a linear reaction. I'm going to see someone somewhere with a big enough audience say, haha, that's funny and kind of cool. I dare somebody to go do that. And slowly and surely, you will eventually click up your rampage, your violence, your rhetoric to a point where somebody notable gets harmed by a rhetoric that shouldn't fit them. Might be a person who just is homeless because they have a full-time job and he got discriminated against, so he's out on the street for 2 weeks while he waits for another lease to pop out somewhere else. Has nowhere else to stay because he moved halfway across the country. You pull that shit or whatever. We're just spitballing connections here. Somebody notable, somebody who's just down on their luck, gets caught up. You think they homeless, blah, blah, blah. They use it, give them, oh, you're doing this, you smell this way, you look this way. Something happened to them, and then that family responds, but this time, now this family is, you're not supposed to do that to my son. You're not supposed to do that to our family. Uh-oh. Then that force clashes with that force. Where did that idea come from? And there you are, live on Twitch, live on YouTube, live on TikTok, wherever you're live from, saying you've done this, showing you've done this, and you're going to pretend. I don't know how anyone could take it that way. I used to think that when people said, when I first met somebody that I will address in a much later video, I used to remember a lot of the comments saying like that it takes me a long time to say nothing. And then I started like listening to more and more of what they talk about. And it's like, no wonder. Anything delivered to you with any type of empathy is seen as just evil. Like it's whack. We live in an era where it's like love and empathy is considered whack and corny. Like that's y'all. Think about your reaction. And if that's the type of reaction you want, you old enough now to deal with the repercussions. You can feel however you want to feel, but what side will you be on?